I see headlines like these almost daily. EU politicians say Israel's decisions in the Gaza conflict are unacceptable and go too far. Many are demanding that Israel allow more aid deliveries into the Gaza Strip. But still, there's not much change in sight. Is there anything the EU can do about it? I asked DW's Brussels correspondent, Rosie.
There are levers the European Union could pull if it wants to exert pressure over Israel, but it needs internal agreement to do so. Firstly, trade restrictions. So the EU is Israel's biggest trading partner, and some EU member states have asked the EU's executive to review and consider suspending the EU-Israel Free Trade Agreement over accusations that Israel, through its conduct in Gaza, has violated human rights obligations which are laid out in that free trade deal. Israel denies that, but through the EU statement, so you can see that they don't seem to be particularly convinced on that point. Then there's sanctions. The EU could sanction Israeli business people or officials or companies if it judges them to be responsible for or complicit in rights abuses in Gaza. And then there's diplomacy. So the EU could downgrade diplomatic ties with Israel, summon the Israeli ambassador. But the fact is, for all of these measures, the EU needs backing from all of, or at least most of in some cases, its 27 member states, and they're so deeply divided on this issue. That's why we'll likely see at EU level this political paralysis continuing and the bloc continuing to look much more like just a bystander than a broker as this really deadly conflict continues.
Would you like the EU to take a clearer stance on Gaza?